Yeah.
I want my queer friends to be able to celebrate the love that they understand me and my partner have in the way that we actually do, which means somebody's probably going to do a line off of someone's dick, and I don't care if it's my grandma.
Oh, wow. We are going to very, very, very different weddings.
Wait, because you were saying that we live in the future right now, and I was thinking like back to one of my favorite Disney Channel original films, like Smart House. Y'all remember that?
Of
I
course.
love that one.
And LeVar Burton directed it.
Wait, like Reading Rainbow, LeVar Burton?
Reading Rainbow, LeVar Burton directed that film. I was shook. I was like 2 years old when I found that out, like literally 2 days ago.
That's why it was so good.
Like, it's shocking because I have such like big memories of that movie. Especially just being like, oh my God, like, one, could you imagine your house just like giving you everything you want? And then like partying like, hey,
blow you away.
Okay.
I was like, word.
Yes.
That's why that movie had so much flavor, though. It had the only really dope-ass character from Star Trek in that generation on it being like, beep, boop, I'm programming this house. You know she did some kinky shit, too.
Well, of course. And like, LeVar Burton. Oh, my God. You had to go there. Yeah, they actually had a...
I mean, maybe. Well, she did fall. Wasn't she basically falling in love with the husband?
Yeah.
In a weird way.
It
Like,
was
she
an
was
early
like, she was
Her.
becoming the mom
Is this
of the
what
household.
inspired Her? The movie Her.
What is Her?
Wow.
What do you mean,
Wait, you haven't seen Her?
What is Her? Is that
It's
the movie
this
where Scarlett
movie-
Johansson turns into a computer machine?
No, it's
Is
the
an
movie where...
AI.
Is it Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Falls
okay,
in
it's
love
like...
with an AI.
Yeah.
And then
I don't really fuck
it turns
with Joaquin.
into a story. You don't fuck with Joaquin Phoenix.
Because Joaquin don't fuck with me. No. I don't know. I have no clue who he is, actually. I mean, he's Joker, right? Like, and what else did he like actively like play that's like a big deal?
I honestly don't really know. I just know all the women in my family were like so wet for him in the 2000s.
I don't even think I can see that because I'm like, he's cute, but like, not really. Not enough for that, but you got white women in your family, so maybe that's it.
Okay, so like technology, I do talk to my house. Like my Alexa will turn on my lights, turn off my TV, like because I love smart home so much growing up. I was scared of the home like trapping me and things like that, so I don't have like smart locks or anything, but I like a smart house, but I don't like AI.
I actually, I kind of, here's the thing. I understand what the issues are with AI and like people kind of really, there's gonna, I mean, like anything, there needs to be a balance that needs to be striked with AI, right? Because it should never be your therapist. It should never be like actually like doing everything for you. But I do think if you use it as a tool that can like really be helpful and you use it for exactly like what you need in some ways, I feel like it could be great. I don't know. I enjoy it for what I use it for.
It's a slippery slope. I'll say that. Like AI is a slippery slope. And here's what I'm annoyed at. No one has original thought anymore. I don't want an email from ChatGPT. I want your thoughts. I'd rather it be poor grammar and shitty and all the things, but me get a little bit of your thoughts than like just like only get. People are using it on Hinge. People are using it like
but
for
my
dating
thoughts are
responses.
going into ChatGPT.
No, they're not.
And then they are being
send
turned
me a romantic
into
text message to respond to this text.
Oh, see, I don't do that.
But people are doing this, and then people are using it for therapy as well. I just saw a meme that was like, "Oh, ChatGPT is the best therapist because it remembers everything," and I'm like, "No, ChatGPT is not a therapist."
We should all know how to use it. And if we don't, then we're going to be like left behind in a really big way.
We're going to be left behind regardless because AI is going to eradicate all work.
Well,
like,
yeah,
we're going
honestly.
to lose all laborers. This is the short-sightedness of capitalism, where it's like you eradicate all of the people, all the jobs that people do that make billionaires billionaires. If you don't have people doing these smaller jobs, then like they're not going to have money to pay for things.
I honestly I'm not worried about any of that though, like any of the AI future, because legit. Okay, so here's the thing: is if we created essentially like another human brain, the next god, like the the next thinking creation of its own. Girl, it is already too late for us. Like, do you remember 2 years ago when you were like, AI, make me look like I'm from the 80s or whatever, and it gave you like 20 fingers? Like, it only took 2 years to be able to make like crazy deep fakes that are kind of thinking for itself. Girl, the AI, we are already in Terminator, okay? I'm just searching for John Connor now.
Well, you just don't care because drag queens are never going to be replaced by AI.
We already are. We already are. Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that are like already being replaced. There's specifically on TikTok, I am kind of obsessed with like the Real House Babies of Atlanta. That is like AI generated, and it's like scenes that basically they babyfied and like their babies. I also love this account, Kim the Gorilla and her feud with Becky the Zookeeper, all AI. There are some really good usages for AI in an entertainment moment, but it does get scary when I start to see like the appropriation of like Black women eating like the mukbangs and like the like racial dynamics.
Okay.
It's all it's very, very weird. All I need it for is to help me refine my damn email so I don't sound like a complete idiot.
But
and take out all them damn M dashes.
Or at least I love an M dash, and now I feel like I can't use an M dash because it automatically shows that you're using AI. Remove the spaces from between the M dash, AP style. Period. But like, I think what's scary about AI.
Of course, you're that detail oriented with your ChatGPT.
Okay,
AP style.
Well, okay, honestly, I'm thankful for AI because I started using M dashes again. I was like, no more run-on sentences.
No, you didn't. AI started using it because it's not your brain. And this is where it gets so scary, is that like we're creating the replacements of ourselves. And so like in our contract with iHeart, there is a provision that says that they can voice clone us. Meaning like, oh, we don't need you anymore to cut ads. We can use your voices. We couldn't get that out. Like they literally own our voices. Do you understand? And like, that's what's so scary is like,
so are you saying we should quit the show right now?
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, we'd be like, I quit. And then next week you'd still hear,
you would have the show.
It's Ben,
it would
Ryan,
probably
and
look
Yvie.
better and sound better than it does with us.
Honestly, it's a voice I would listen to. I don't know. I do understand the real worries about AI, and it is something that we should all be like thinking about. And especially when it comes to policy and regulating it, it just feels like the Wild Wild West, just like cryptocurrency, except for where it actually feels like AI is like tangible and can actually like help you in real ways. But yeah, I just don't want to end up like WALL-E, even though that's one of my favorite.
That's
Pixar
literally
films.
what I want, though. What are you talking about? Literally, I promise
WALL-E?
you.
WALL-E
Yes.
was like a post-apocalyptic. Everyone is like sitting in chairs because they've let AI do everything.
And one of the best children's movies of all time. But I promise you, like at least once a month, like usually on my bad days when like my body is fucked up and sore and I still have some regular human stuff to do, like, oh, go to the bank. I'm like, I just wish we were WALL-E people.
Well,
I just want to be in
the people that will get us to WALL-E are the same people who want to see disabled people like you killed. And so like that's the thing, is that there's no nuance here. It's like because evil is evil, and this is all rooted in capitalism. And so the people who are going to be most affected are the most marginalized. And until then, you know, just please write your own emails.
I mean, but seriously though, is there nothing AI has done that actually has been helpful for you?
Absolutely. There absolutely is. There absolutely is. But what I am worried about specifically is generative AI as a tool to eradicate independent thought while stealing the thoughts of the people who had it in the first place. So if you put in an essay you wrote and say, hey, help me correct the grammar in this, you have just trained this AI how to write in your voice. And so it might write in your voice and use your words for the next person. It makes your life easier until it doesn't.
Yeah.
Until you're no longer needed, and until, you know, you're dead. Like that's literally like how it works. When people can't feed themselves, and then you don't have Medicaid and you don't have social services anymore, people are gonna die. So like it's cute and fun.
It's Tuesday. Can you fucking relax?
Well, okay. Also,
can we be happy, bitch?
Hey, it's fake Wednesday. First of all, it's fake Friday.
I'm my
It's Fake
God.
Friday here. God
It's
damn
Fake
it.
Friday here. Suspend the disbelief, please.
I'm spiraling into despair. Actually, speaking of, I've been watching Sandman, and I just love seeing despair.
Oh,
I love seeing the characters, and I always think of I was thinking about which character would we be if we were on there? Like, would we be desire? Would we be death or despair or delirium? And anyway, that's
okay.
You'd
Wait.
be delusion.
Yeah, wait. Well, that's almost one of them. Which D do you feel like, Ryan? Which D? Because I feel like I feel like
I
you'd
would
be
actually
death.
be E. I would be exhaustion. I would be exhaustion. Just sprinkling exhaustion in everyone's life.
Girl, that's why these glasses are on. You got into my eyes this morning.
Oh my goodness.
Did y'all get to see that video that World of Wonder, that Drag Race posted that had fake Jinx Monsoon and fake Susie too? I don't even remember who the other fake drag queen was.
No.
But yeah, so they posted a whole little skit between these two AI versions of queens that they totally could have hired. and the people got pissed. The people don't want to see it. So it's coming for our jobs too, but I do think
was it
there's pushback.
voiced by the queens, or was it it was just they just put a animated voice on it?
Well, I think those queens had to approve of their likeliness being used that way, unless World of Wonder just still owns it in some way. But what's scary about that? I will say though that drag is live entertainment, and I've been saying for a long time, I'm a live entertainment producer. That is a space where it's what I love about it is you cannot put a computer up on stage. It's about that intimacy. It's about what happens every night. And so this is when we get into the conversations we have all the time around what is drag? And it's there's the RuPaul's Drag Race TV drag, but real drag, real nightlife, that real scene feels AI proof. It feels like no one can take that from us. I say that until the bartenders are robots.
Well, have y'all taken Waymos?
No. Wait,
I drove next to one in LA and I was freaked out when we did our photo shoot. I was like, what the hell is going on?
I love Waymos.
Oh my gosh.
I don't love the fact that they're going to, take jobs. For sure, I do not like that. However, I do like the experience. I think because I am someone that has always grown up being a lover of futurism and being oh my God, the possibility. Back to the Future to Xenon to Smart House as we're talking. And I've always been fascinated by it. And so the fact that I'm living in a time where there's literally a car driving itself and experiencing that, it is a little heavy footed.
Yeah.
It'd be turning in corners a little while. But it's just a really cool experience until you get into the thought process of it being oh wow, if this actually becomes a thing, what does that mean as a larger picture? And it's we'll both be able to exist? Who knows?
Well,
Probably not.
honestly, I've been talking with my husband a lot about it, and we both are leaning towards this idea that, AI is coming for our jobs. It's coming for everyone's jobs. So, obviously the people who have the power are going to try and manipulate the system the most to make sure that those beneath, those with less, are getting the shit end of the stick. However, since it's coming for everything, there's this feeling I have that it's going to force us to change culturally how we feel about work,
Yeah.
Universal basic income and socialism. But that's what this could be the harbinger of socialism. Because if you eradicate all low-level jobs, you automate factory jobs, you can't even fucking drive a car anymore for a living, then it's you can't work. And that's why you need Medicaid. That's why you need universal basic income. When we had a brief universal basic income in this country during COVID, it pulled hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty.
Yeah.
These are all great things if that's where that brings us. But I worry that it just brings us to, well, let those people die. Because that's how it feels like our society is changing, where it's oh, you should have gotten a better job. But it's what is a better job? These engineers who are making $500,000 a year doing software and bullshit, they're not going to have jobs anymore.
And that's the interesting. So it's so funny we're talking about this because literally I woke up this morning and the first thing I always do is grab my phone and start scrolling. And immediately saw, as soon as I opened the fucking app, Bill Gates says only 3 jobs will survive the AI takeover: coder, energy experts, and biologist.
I was going to say
cockroach. I'm not doing any of that. So I don't know what I mean. One, that it's going to take years of by the time it's a real thing, I'm going to be what, like 85? I don't know.
You're gonna be 40, girl.
And how do you jump into learning how to be a coder? The only coding I knew was MySpace, and that was like as far as my experience goes.
And AI does that too. You can Google
code the AI.
No, you can say, make me an app that has 4 panels and one of them says this and one of them says that, and it does you can, and it will just build it for you.
That's
it's wild.
It is wild, but that's why I mean, obviously Bill Gates knows his shit, but
don't be nice to billionaires.
I was like,
I'm not. No. Well, I mean, he knows. He probably, I'm assuming, is more involved with the development and staying up to date with every little fine-tuned thing about what the future of AI holds. So I trust that he has some vision about like what jobs he sees surviving. But everything else I've heard is more like, girl, you better learn to be a plumber. You better learn to be a carpenter. It's all those practical skills.
Trades.
Yeah, that like people really have absolutely no idea how to do now. It's like when we were kids and our parents were like bitching about people not knowing how to like drive stick anymore. I
thought my biggest worry was going to be like having to learn how to ride a bike, because I don't know how to do that. But now it's actually, well, maybe I should learn how to I don't know, change a tire. Bring back real men.
Yeah, bring back real men. This is my mechanic shirt right here.
Okay, y'all. So enough of that. It's time for a quick break. Now, when we come back, what are we getting into, Ben?
We are talking weddings, and this may or may not be because I am recovering from like a 3-day wedding, but I think we all have some hot takes on weddings. Do we even want to be married ourselves? For some of us, it's too late, Yvie. So there's a lot to discuss.
All right, well, we'll be right back, and y'all better not get cold feet. Welcome back to HighKey. Now, okay, today we are talking all about weddings. Do you hear that? Those unnecessary wedding bells? Like, what the fuck is that? Apparently, it is peak wedding season, and Ben, you brought this up in our editorial meeting because I guess you have been bombarded by a shit ton of weddings this year.
I'm in wedding mode, and this weekend I was at a wedding in Connecticut for my partner's cousin, and it was great. I love my partner's family. I mean, we've been together for 9 years, so they're like my family. But I was thinking about something specifically that happened at the wedding that is kind of like a deeper reason why weddings are always a little awkward for me, depending on what kind of wedding they are. So basically, I was like out in the hallway, and someone came up to me and was like, "You work here, right?" And I said, "No, I don't work here. I'm wearing this gorgeous suit. Like, do I look like I work here?" Like, no. I was like, "No." And so then they go, "Oh, so how do you know the bride and groom?"
Oh no. And you're like, well.
And I was like, well, first of all, the bride's my family. So yeah, think about that. Try to Google that. But I was like, oh, I know what it is. You're like, what you're actually asking is like, what are you doing here, brown person? Because I find that weddings tend to be like events that are kind of segregated, where you kind of realize, and part of it's because it's family, and it's like if it's 2 white people getting married, there's going to be a lot of white family. And then sometimes I'm like, wow, am I the only black person you know? Like there's like these extremes at these situations. But that comment got me. And it just made me think like, wow, I think this is why I don't like to go to weddings, because maybe I don't belong there.
Oh, I feel you so hard. I mean, like all the earliest weddings I went to were actually like black weddings. So it was like the opposite experience where it was like all black people and then like some white woman named Kathy who was dating like one of the real brothers there or whatever. But like, in my experience after that, as an adult, everything else I've been to is just the most white experience ever. And I love all of the people whose weddings I've attended, but this is like my PSA right now. Do not invite me to your wedding if your grandma's gonna be there. I don't want to see her. Tell that bitch I don't fuck with her. unless she's like ready to take her top off and get wild on the dance floor.
But so wait, weren't you just at a fairy wedding? Like that screams like white.
Okay, but that's the thing is, it's like to Ben's point, I don't even think it's just about whiteness. Although there is something extremely white about a bunch of people getting together for hours all day long and like clinking their glasses.
How many black people? Well, how many people of color were at that fairy wedding?
I want to say like 10 out of 50 or whatever, you know?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could see. But the thing
For
is,
a fairy wedding, honestly, it's pretty damn good.
That's not bad.
but what sucked about it is I was the only fairy. Like they sent out this whole invitation that like got my hopes up. They were like, yeah, it's fairy themed. It's going to be in this magical place. I showed up and these bitches are still in like suits and dresses. And it reminded me how much, at least I feel like as queer people, we don't even belong at weddings, not even our own.
True.
It's so interesting. When you wanted to talk about weddings, I really wasn't sure. I was kind of like a low-key a little triggered because I was like, I've only ever been to 2 weddings in my entire life. And they were like church like friends or like church people that we were there for. And then fast forward to me living out here in LA, and I went to a coworker's wedding in San Diego. Those are the only 2 weddings I've literally ever been to. My mom hasn't ever been married. No one really in my immediate family has ever been married. And so I've never really experienced like weddings. And so like that wedding culture isn't really a thing for me. And to be honest, like I guess I never really thought about myself as like the type to like be married. I feel like I've always, if someone's asked me that, I'm always probably like, especially if like I'm dating someone, I'm like, oh, you know, like for sure. Like, yeah. But I've always really deep down, I've kind of been like, well, what's the point of like a marriage? Is it just because of tax benefits? Or is it like, is it because like you really want to live with the person? I also feel very Whoopi Goldberg to the shit. Like, I actually don't even really want to live with my partner ever. Like, I know, I think I know a little bit more about myself versus when I felt like when I used to talk about weddings in the past, it used to be, of course I want a wedding. I'm saying all the things that I thought we were supposed to say when it came to that.
Yeah.
But if I'm being honest, I've never had any real examples of what, I guess what that would look like or what that even feels like, if I'm being quite honest. I haven't met anyone I wanted to marry yet.
I mean, I'm shocked because you seem to me like such like a deep romantic that you would already have your dream wedding planned out, you know. You would model it after.
I mean, I do know.
Okay, exactly.
No,
I was like, wait a minute.
I know like things about like what I would want to have. I don't know what my wedding would look like, but I'm like, oh, for sure. I know that I would probably like want to like a little where the guest book is, where you sign in or whatever. There's also like a little jar of pre-rolls that everyone takes for the party. I know I kind of want that situation. But I genuinely, if I'm being honest, I haven't, as an adult, I think when you start to be single for a while, you start to kind of get into the head place of like, are you comfortable with one day just like being by yourself the entirety of the rest of your time? And so like if wedding partners, marriage, all the things, it's like, I don't really know where that fits in my life currently.
But I guess, right, like, yes, you're not dating anyone in a serious way, so like it's not on the immediate horizon. But do you feel like that is what's painting your picture of weddings? Like the being singleness? Or like if you are in a long-term, I've been in a relationship for 9 years. I'm not married. Would you have been married at this point?
Well, why, I mean, you're basically married. Why would you get married now that you've been with your partner for 9 years?
And why haven't you gotten married?
Like why haven't you?
The question that grandma asks.
So we got our domestic partnership so that we could be on each other's health insurance, right? Like that was a big part of it. But it's tough because marriage costs money, right? A lot of money. A modern wedding today costs $100,000 in New York City. It's a huge amount of money. I don't come from family money. And when I think about the other things that I want to do, I want to have a kid, a domestic adoption, $40,000 to $50,000. I want to own a home. So I'm just like, why? My thing about weddings is why throw a huge party for everybody else for one day and give up things that could change my entire life, that's hard for me to wrap my brain around when it will not change a single thing about my relationship besides my tax status. Because I am queer. Like, heteronormative institutions, that's what's so weird is like we fought so hard for marriage equality, and I was like, I actually don't really care. Like, I don't care what now I'm like thinking back and I'm like, I don't know if that was even the fight, actually.
That was the fight when you had cis white gay men doing
that was their fight. I don't know if that was my fight. I don't know what that did to really help me.
It's funny you say that, because I think we needed that fight to be able to advance ourselves into a place where we're closer to being protected as just regular humans in society. That's like why cis white gays still don't experience the same kind of life pushback, internet time as trans people. Is like they got into acceptance by being like, look, we can do things like you.
Now they're hyper masculine. Now they're buffing up. And then also a whole bunch of straight cis men are becoming a lot gayer because they're all incels and looking at the world through the gaze of men, and all like straight men are getting so gay right now. And that would have been a dream come true years ago. And now I'm scared because straight men scare me.
Well, you're not wrong there. Just don't marry any of them.
I'm listening to you both. And the question what you said, Yvie, about like, you thought that I would be the person that would like have my wedding and everything planned. I do feel like there's a way you can still exist as like a romantic, but not want to get married. Like I think that's the reason why we watch shows like that are all about love and all the things. Like it's because you enjoy the idea of romance, but it doesn't necessarily need to like be this like goes back to traditionalism. It doesn't need to follow those rules in some ways. And so like, I don't know, maybe I get worried around the expectations of what weddings mean. Like once you have that like legitimate partnership, like what does that mean now? Like, does that mean I owe you everything? Does that like, how do the dynamics change? I have so many like thoughts around this where I'm like, I don't know. It just feels like, why do I need that title if like I can just say you're my partner and we can just exist with each other, and then maybe for tax benefits then do the big one, but it's not like rooted in we need to do this thing.
I really did it like halfway for the health benefits.
Yeah.
But I also got married because it helps me communicate with other people in my life. Like there were two things that really pushed me to try and get married outside of health insurance. And that was when speaking to my grandmother, whenever like it would, the subject of my boyfriend then was brought up, she'd be like, "Oh, are you still with that guy?" Like, there's in straight people world, your relationship isn't serious until
legitimacy.
Like either you have kids or you get married. So it was like to be able to have that understanding between me and everybody else in straight people world. Like, oh no, I know I'm just a silly faggot, but I put a ring on this cock,
Are they actually like, do they call him your husband? Like, what's the language that they use for him?
I mean, they just call him Doug now.
Oh,
they keep it, but even then, like, the idea of being able to place him in our family solidly, I think was really helped by the fact that we did something in their language. And so that's also why I don't feel like I want a wedding. I don't think I need a wedding. Like, we already did the show for you guys. We already went to the courthouse, signed the papers on the lunch break, took some photos, and told, like, to Ben's point, why the hell would you spend such a ridiculous amount of money to be absolutely miserable? Have you ever seen brides on the day of? They're just stressed. Everything is stressful.
But this is their one day to be a celebrity. Think about it. Everyone's taking pictures of you. Everyone's fawning over you. No, but it's true. Like, this is like this day where you are the star, and everyone wants you, and everyone's taking pictures of you, and it's like, I don't know. I've done that a little bit. I don't care.
Yeah. I think it goes deeper than that, because how do y'all feel about like your birthday? Do you like it when you have a big birthday party and everybody's eyes are on you? They're at your house They're
Hate
coming
it.
over every 5 seconds
I
being
also
like,
hate it.
hey, happy birthday. So how are you?
I had one year where I had so much anxiety. I tend to have a normal amount of anxiety around my birthday. But I had one year where I was like freaking out because I feel like my birthday always reminded me of like, it reminds you of your relationships. It reminds you of like, oh, do people want to celebrate you?
Mhm.
And like the idea of me like I made an invite and everything and like sent it to like a group of people to come. And I was so nervous before anyone could even reply. I was sent a follow-up being like, actually, I canceled this. I'm just going to go on a solo vacation. And then last minute, I like on my actual birthday, I had a talk with a friend and they were like, just do something. And I ended up having a last minute, like the get together that I ended up having, wanting. And that's actually how I ended up becoming really good friends with my friend Tre'vell because they showed up
Oh,
and they
wow.
were like, I knew something was going, you were having a little chaos moment. Like everybody knows I have a little chaos. And they allowed me to just like exist and they showed up and support and that kind of opened the door to our friendship. But I don't know. I just always get very nervous around birthdays because I'm just like, who
Yeah.
wants to celebrate
Well,
me?
all that attention is on you. That's what's so weird about it is like it's a long drawn out version of singing the birthday song sitting around the cake. Like that's what a wedding is you sitting there with your cake being like, yes, you guys, it is my birthday and thank you all for acknowledging how much you love me by watching me do this thing while you sing at me and I show you how good it is to like sit here and be cake.
But also, like, you know what? I think that we create opportunities to celebrate the people we love and care about in a ritualized way, because if not, life gets so big and hard that you don't get those moments. I think like when Maddie and I were first in a relationship, I wanted a wedding so badly because I wanted to just show everyone, like, look at my love. I love this person so fucking much. Don't you see it? And now it's like, I am so secure in my love. I'm so secure in my relationship. We have such a strong relationship where we communicate in ways most people can't, that I'm like, I'm entering into this institution that never wanted me and that fails more than 50% of the time. And I'm like, maybe I should just do what we're doing and you know, I don't know.
I've been tiptoeing around this thing. So I feel like my real reason of not really wanting weddings is due to my family. Because I have had conversations around if I was to ever get married, would like certain people show up? And the response was, I don't know, I have to see. And it's someone particularly like, obviously like really close to me. And I think for me, I think that's always been even when it came to like relationships, it's always been like the point where I'm like, oh, I have to like open up and like tell them about like my familial dynamics. And and that's always been very nerve-wracking to me. Because I'm like, oh my God, you are not only inheriting my mess, but you're going to be also inheriting like the drama of like family. And then like also like, yes, you have your chosen family and that really matters. But like, is it weird if like your immediate family isn't going to be there? Like my immediate family won't be there and yours will. Like,
But
that for me has been like, I think something that it's always been in the back of my mind where it's like, yeah, your mom said she would probably not come to your wedding. So like, what do you do with that? And this was like a couple years ago when we had the conversation. It was kind of very like Master of None having a conversation, like when Denise came out to her mom, Angela Bassett. And like I was like talking to my mom and we were just like having a really interesting conversation. And for some reason, I just felt the need to be like, okay, if I was ever get a relationship and I get married, would you come? And
she was seriously like, no.
I don't.
No, she's going to come. I think she would come, but I think and I think moms come around. I do think that, but I just want to start by saying I'm sorry because that sucks and that like we can't.
Well, there's nothing to apologize for.
No, I'm sorry that that you're in that situation. I feel sorry for the situation. Like, I didn't do anything wrong, but like, you deserve to be loved and cherished. And I just want to like name that while also saying I relate and resemble that. Like, my mom is one of 7 children. I had a huge family, 22 first cousins on that side. I barely see any of them. And like, I had this feeling around my wedding because my cousin Liam passed away. He was in college, a sailor at Brown. And I went to the funeral, the memorial service, and my family did not invite me to sit in the family section.
Oh, wow.
They didn't speak to me. Like, most of them didn't speak to me and my partner who were there. And so we're sitting on a staircase in the back, at this thing is about my cousin who I held, hours after he was born. And that's like the hard thing about being queer is like all of these things are not just a celebration. There's a lot of pain behind them because when you have all these people come together, what's more glaring than all that love are the people who are missing.
For sure. It's one of those things where it's like I said, this was a couple years ago, and maybe she will maybe show up. Who knows? But I think it is something to be like said around how that plays into like, oh, this possibility on top of everything else when it comes to dating and just dating in 2025 in general. It's just like, yeah, weddings are like buying houses. It's not gonna fucking happen.
It's not gonna happen.
I
don't even care if you want one.
It's not gonna happen.
Not in this economy, bitch.
I know.
And so it's like, I feel like this conversation is always like loaded for me because it's not as just simple as just like, oh, do I want the glitz and the glam of it all? It's like, do I actually? It's based on the people that I will want there. Because if I actually get to a place where I meet someone that is like accepting me for me and I accept them for them, like I want everyone to celebrate that. Like, of course. But
then can you even afford it? Because you're gonna want the wedding, and then it's like it doesn't matter what we want anymore. I want a house, I want a wedding, I want a kid, I want all of these things.
That's so wild to me though, Ryan. Like I cannot believe that like there is a distinct possibility that like your mom wouldn't come to your own wedding. But more than that, I can't believe
I'm sure I'm not the only one.
No, but more than that, I can't believe that is something that upsets you.
What, that my mom won't come to my wedding?
That anybody in your family won't come to your wedding. Legitimately.
What do you mean?
By that, I mean the most stressful element about the idea of having a wedding, which my entire family wants me to. But the most stressful idea is that you have to see your family. Like, bitch, are you kidding me? I already did Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, and Easter, and now I've got to add another date on?
But that's the thing. What happens if your world is like, if your situation is like you don't have that tight-knit family. Like, I don't have that. My immediate family is literally my mom and my grandmother. And like, it's everything else is kind of like broken into pieces. Now, like my siblings on my dad's side will for sure be there. His, ex-wife will be there.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, it's hard. It complicates things even further. I think me saying that is like into this decision is like when you have complicated family dynamics, it just makes it. It doesn't make it the fairy tale thing that I think we all envision.
That's why I would want to remove my family. Like,
so like
oh
an
my
elopement.
God.
Like that's what I think. I find
what if we so trash?
No, but I think you gotta reframe what you're thinking because you're thinking, oh, let's go to Vegas, but it's like, why not like the two of us on a beach with a camera, like. Maybe a marriage isn't about everybody else. And maybe the reason separating weddings and marriages. People spend so much time planning their wedding that they don't spend enough time planning their marriage. And like
I connect elopements to like secret, like it's a secret, like it's a secretive thing, and it necessarily doesn't have to.
It's more of a reclamation of marriage.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, this is literally for us to celebrate our love. Here's a picture. We looked great.
Yeah, that's why that's like what I did. Doug and I went to the courthouse literally on his lunch break one random week while I was in New York. We got married because we knew it was the thing we wanted to do. And then we just like broke the news to people after being like, yeah, I know you guys want to celebrate this, but like it's secretly not about you. Which is why I think I'd like to move towards the direction of like, if we are having weddings, you should be able to pick like how you want to be celebrated. It reminds me of that one scene in the gay episode of The Last of Us where he was like, I just want you to love me how I want to be loved. Where like, I don't want to have to talk about Jesus or the Holy Spirit if I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want my queer friends to be able to celebrate the love that they understand me and my partner have in the way that we actually do, which means somebody's probably going to do a line off of someone's dick, and I don't care if it's my grandma.
Oh wow, we are going to very, very, very different weddings. I will say that, but
We are going to different weddings.
But it has to be for you. And I
to your
think
wedding.
a similar thing was like the music at this wedding. Like all the old white people loved the music, and I didn't film them dancing because it's family, and I wasn't going to let that go
party
viral.
rock, like
Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
No, I wish. No, it was like I couldn't think of a song. Maddie was like, I was like, Maddie, I feel like they were playing Cotton Eye Joe, and she's like, no, they weren't. And I was like, it felt like it. Okay.
The energy said Cotton Eye Joe.
Exactly.
Wow, that's too much weight. Okay, so then let's build our fantasy a little bit here. What is one thing that you would definitely like want to be a staple of your wedding, of your perfect day to celebrate your love between you and this person who also has no opinions? They don't care. They're like, yeah, I'll just do whatever you want.
Well, I think my partner and I want like the same things. We want it to be somewhere we love. So it's probably going to be like Prospect Park. I'm in Prospect Park 2 hours a day walking. Like we walk by the boathouse we want to get married in. We've thought about the Brooklyn Botanic Garden. We've been members for many years. Places that like bring us joy. I want the food to be our favorite things.
Ooh.
And then we have to like, we're not big drinkers. We're big stoners. So it's like, have to have some elements that are for us. And like, if you don't like it, leave.
Who brings up the wedding first? Like who? Like when y'all were talking about this, I always wondered this. Like, what stage were you at in your relationship that you brought
Like
this
3
up?
days in.
Wow.
How
You're a
quickly
lesbian.
Are you bringing this up?
I mean, Maddie came over for what was supposed to be a hookup. And I don't know, I had central AC in a really nice apartment. And I was making a lot of money. I don't know, we just like fell in love. She like never left. She was like, do you mind if I just like spend the night? And then it was like 2 months later.
And she was like, do you mind if I just spend the rest of my life with you?
That's
And I was
crazy.
like, yeah, I think that would work.
That's
And
nice.
it has. And it's worked.
I feel like what I envision currently, this is all subjected to change. All my thoughts on this podcast are subjected to change at any moment. I just want to put that little warning out there. But I would love, if I'm being honest, a small little like private ceremony and then doing like a lavish, beautiful dinner.
Yes.
Like 20, 30 people, maybe 40, 50 at a beautiful king's table.
Maddie and I have been talking about starting a micro wedding business for this very reason, which is like literally helping like millennials and Gen Z throw weddings for like $5,000 to $10,000. You can get permits to like have a wedding in the park. You can like there's all these ways to like we have to re-envision what it means to have this celebration for ourselves that isn't rooted in spending lots of money, but is instead about like let's create this amazing experience to celebrate our love. The wedding I was at, they had the most beautiful ceremony presentation. Like I was just like crying the entire time. And it's like, there's so many things that don't cost money that can celebrate who we are. And I don't actually need 100 people there. It's like, if I don't love every single person in that room, then like, why the hell are they there? And why am I paying $200 a plate for them?
Ooh, yeah, see, no, that's a complete no for me. And I think what stresses me out the most about weddings is I have so many people I love. Like just starting with family, I have 2 different gigantic families who will all kick the shit out of me if they're not invited to my wedding. So like already I have to have like, a giant African spiritualist family, a gigantic Southern Baptist family. I have to appease both of those somehow.
Yes.
And then you throw in all the fuck ups I call my chosen family. Like there's so many, especially because, yes, I am inviting my hookups to the wedding. I'm like, hey.
Is that going to be your wedding party? Just people you both have fucked?
Yes, honestly, it probably will be. So I think my ideal wedding would be like, it starts in the daytime so that like all the old people can come. We have like a fake wedding for them where we're like, yes, Doug and Yvie, we take each other, throw some rice. somebody throw a child with a ring or, whatever the straight traditions. I'll give you a goat.
Throw a child with a ring.
And then as soon as that sun sets, bitch, it's just like real life for me where like all of my weird, fucked up queer friends start just like climbing over the fence into my backyard and are like, it's time for the blood ritual.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, maybe I'll just come to the celebration afterwards. 2 weeks from now, I don't know if I can come actually to the ceremony anymore.
You're cordially invited.
It's scary.
Yvie's wedding is at the Eagle, and it's gonna be lit. Oh,
That's actually pretty cute.
Okay, the Eagle, if you're listening to this.
But it has to be the Eagle, New York. We know that to be true.
It legit does, though.
Okay, like, last question. Do you think that if you're only inviting one brown person to your wedding, you should warn them that they're going to be the only person of color
That's
there?
crazy. How would you even do that? I mean, it would be weird if we're only inviting one brown person to our weddings. You know what I mean?
I'm
mean,
not
maybe
talking about
weird.
us. I'm talking about, I think this is, I know, Yvie, you've mentioned being one of the only people of color at a wedding in the past. I know, like, I don't know if you've had that experience, Ryan.
For
but,
sure.
like, it's almost every wedding I go to. And then I have this thing where I'm like, I know you're not racist, but like, also, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, I actually literally was just at a birthday party. I was at a birthday party with some really great friends, and I noticed that I was literally the only Black person in the room. And here's the thing. It sort of kind of reminds me, I feel like very grateful of the way that I grew up, because I grew up in a very suburban Southern town where I had different friend groups, and I knew how to navigate those friend groups. I was with the Black folks.
You
and
learned
I
how to
also was with
code
the white.
switch young.
Yeah, I knew it all. But it is very interesting where I'm like, okay, it's kind of also one of those things where if you see someone like on a dating app, or you see someone like their Instagram feed, and you're like, oh, so there is literally no
Exactly.
Black
Not
person
one.
or like person of color in your life, which do they need to? I don't know necessarily, because my thing is I don't want them adding any drama to that Black person's life.
Wait, but this is what, but that's actually the deeper question.
Don't actually, like, if you don't want to, don't.
Is it racist not to have people of color in your life, especially if you live in a place where there are plenty of people of color around? Like,
I feel like it's racist to have people of color in their life just because they need to have a person of color. Like, when you can tell, like, when you're looking at like a movie poster, or you're looking at something and you're like, oh, they were like, we need to make sure there's a Black person in this because it's given very white. At this point in time where we are culturally, I think we can all clock it. And so it's one of those things where you can tell when it's genuine and when you can tell when it's like weird and they just don't think about it.
I think it gets a little dangerous when we start like trying to tell people what they should and should not have in their lives, in their social circles and stuff, because that's not how like real DEI should work. But it just like, it does feel so shitty. It feels so weird. Every wedding, like lots of weird family events, you show up and you are the only Black person. I do think it like speaks to the experience that like, you might be there for your partner or that one friend or something, but like there is a difference in the way that you navigate the world. So that's why I'm personally like, girl, I'm not even taking any more chances. I'm sick of being the only Black person at the wedding. I'm sick of being the only fairy at a fairy wedding. Are you kidding me?
You're like, it happens everywhere.
Yeah, like
it doesn't matter who you are, what species you are, fairy, human, in between. Weddings are complicated. I think they're especially complicated for us queer folks, and I think they're especially complicated for all of our identities, because we show up in a room and we're here to celebrate one or two people, and we have to meet all these new people and watch our friends spend lots of money on a party that most people are too drunk to remember. And that's weddings. And I don't know, despite it all, I think I'll have a wedding. I was thinking about it the other day and I was like crying and I was like, wait, I need a wedding. I'm in love.
That's the bitch who is planning their wedding. Not like,
I mean,
that's
it
the
started
person
since
that
I was a
planned it.
kid. I mean, I planned my whole life, and I'm glad you both are part of it, and you'll be at my wedding for sure. That's for sure.
Now that we've gotten through all the wedding talk, let's talk divorce after the break.
All
Alrighty, y'all. It's time for our favorite moment. So you can tell Ryan's geeked about it already. Ryan, I want to know, starting with you, what are you high-key about this week?
Oh my God, I'm high key about. I hope I'm okay. I hope I don't sound like a little bit of a nerd, but I am going to nerd out a little bit. So over the past like 3 years or so, I've been like slowly and gradually like collecting James Baldwin books. And I have a portrait of him on my entertainment stand, and I've been wanting to like task myself with one, reading more, because come on, and then two, just like specifically his books. I went to Paris a few years ago because a friend and I, we were like, we want to have like our James Baldwin moment and get reinvigorated and like re-energized for like the year coming up, and he's just
experienced racism on a different continent.
Which honestly I didn't, which was kind of crazy. Anyway, but I am high key about Notes of a Native Son.
Yes.
I have started reading it for the first time, and I didn't realize that James Baldwin was 31 when he wrote this back in 1955. And I'm like, I'm 31 in 2025 reading this book. And it's a essay of his thoughts in a collection of like what he felt about culture at the time and just life in general. And it's been really interesting. I for some reason feel like I'm just oddly and weirdly connected to this person. And I just am really excited to be kind of like adding it to my collection of work and really building in just honoring his legacy, because I don't know, it's just really, really important when you think about the work that he's done. And being 31 and about to be 32 soon, I'm just like, how does anyone have these thoughts? Like, I'm so fascinated about like by writers in general, because it's just not a talent that I have. But it's really fascinating. And so I've kind of been deep diving into that. It's a little boring, but that's me. That's my high key.
That's not boring.
It's a little boring learning about like what my life would have been like in the 50s.
And it's not good.
No, I mean, but the man is an icon.
He is.
I'm literally staring at a portrait of him too, like as we're talking right now, and I have the books on my shelf, and you look at these people from before, and it reminds us that like Black queer men have thrived even for years, for generations, by like going and doing your own thing. Like he left America, he found himself. I just get so much permission from reading his books to just be audacious.
Literally.
And say what is on my mind. And I'm so glad, as are we all in our 31 era for a moment? This is like one of the few weeks where we're all 31. So I think very appropriate high key of the week.
You know, I'm echoing everything you said, but like, it's been really fascinating to just know the things that he was writing about is like, obviously still things that we are still, contending with now. And so, I can't wait to give y'all a real kind of deep dive once I finish it, but I'm very obsessed with this book right now.
Where, bitch? Talk some native son to these kids.
Okay, Ben, your turn.
Oh gosh, I didn't prepare one this week. If I'm going to be honest, like I'm high key having a bad week, and had something really, really terrible happen that I can't even talk about, which makes it more terrible. But what I'm just trying to sit with is the fact that it's like right now, so many people are struggling and so many people are feeling really hopeless. And hope is not like something that just like is real. Like hope is something that we create and then we thrive on. And so I was about to go into this very dejected place to get this terrible news right before we start filming. And I texted you both, be like, by the way, if I'm crying this whole fucking thing, you know why? But instead I was like, wait a minute. But like, despite the bad, there's still so much good. And I'm like really leaning into the multitudes of my life, to the friendships, the connections that I have here outside of this space. And so, as bad as it's going, I'm just trying to reframe where I'm like, it has always gotten better. And that's what I like about sharing our personal lived experiences. We show people it's like, not all the times are good. Yeah, and yet
it's real.
Historically, here we are. Things have always gotten better. And so I'm going to start reframing that in my mind when things are going bad, to just say that this is temporary, even though it feels so permanent, it feels so big. This is temporary. This pain is temporary. And so, like, I don't know. I just wanted to like name that this week because I think sometimes we come into these spaces and we want to create really aspirational spaces, but there's nothing more aspirational than just like being yourself, living your truth, and just taking one day at a time, because it is a hard time to be alive right now, and that's okay. But I'm glad that you are alive, and I'm glad that I'm alive, even sometimes when it's tough.
It is tough, because there's like one part of this that I think we all recognize. Like, we wanna create a space where like people want to listen and shit. So you automatically go into like, I want y'all to have fun. It's like a house party where you invited a bunch of people over. You're like, yes, come in. We're gonna have a rad time. And then like right before they get there, you get a bunch of bad news, and you're like, there's a handle in the kitchen. So I think it's completely valid, and I want to say like thank you for opening that up with us. Thank you for coming in and being like, I'm high key going through it. You deserve that.
High key going through it. But hey, I still think we found the fun, and that's what you got to do. Even on those bad days, you have to show up, leave it at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what friends are for. So I appreciate you both.
Yeah, shout out to you for pushing through. Like this is not, I think a lot of people have this perception that just like, oh yeah, you're turning on a mic and it's just easy work. And I'm not saying it's like brain surgery, but it is a lot when you have to kind of, when you put yourself out there. And so I appreciate you for constantly always doing that and raising the bar.
Right, bitch. It gets better.
Shut up.
Does it though?
I know, right?
Does it?
Does it? I know. Does it get better? Let's create our own viral videos. Does it get better? Or were they lying to you? Yvie, brighten my day.
Alrighty. Well, I don't know how well this is gonna do that, but I'll start with the ones. I have 2 high keys, okay, y'all?
Work.
So I am high key obsessed with King of Drag. I have to put that out there. I could talk about it forever and ever, which I might later on our Patreon, but just know that like you are watching something beautiful happening in queer history right now with a show about drag kings. It's so good. I can't say anymore. It's so good. But the second high key I have is I've been high key obsessed with Lizzo's most recent project.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
It is very
good.
It's very good.
Well, and it just feels very like an authentic response to like what's been going on, because Lizzo was at the front of this body positivity movement. Not only herself like endorsing like, yes, be positive about her, but being kind of put as the face of like, yeah, and if you like fat people, go listen to some Lizzo. Like it'll make you feel good. And so I think it's really interesting for her to come back out of all of her scandals, not with like another pop album, but doing a real quick mixtape just to be like, you know what? Actually, I have some shit I want to address, because that's what makes rap so good. It is a storytelling experience. And Lizzo's like, you know what? Here's some shit that wouldn't sound good in a pop song. I may have been fat, but I've never been ugly.
Well, I think like not only do we need Lizzo on the show, and I know production has been in the works trying to make that happen, but I also feel like this, from my understanding, she had like cut a whole different album and then was just like, this is not what I need to be saying right now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we do all this work, we're Rihanna and we spend 10 years trying to make the best new thing. And sometimes we just need to go and lay out what we're feeling in this moment. And that's what it feels like. It felt like, wow, you didn't like my first single? Then who cares? Why am I even trying? Let me make what I want to make.
Well, and I think one of the most interesting aspects about it is it really does feel like she refound the confidence that people loved about Lizzo in the first place by just owning what's actually in her truth. Yeah. You can tell she has like a good group of girlfriends around her. Like they use actual audio all the time on the project. She's like chilling and shouting out all the like biggest rap bitches in the game, being like, listen, this shit is hard, and I know that y'all understand it. I know that you got it, Nikki. I know that you get it, Doja. I know, like, it was so hot to me to see somebody whose society has a lot of fun kicking down be like, you know what? Actually, fuck y'all bitches. I'm sick of trying to make you happy. Here's some shit talk, motherfucker.
Yeah, I've interviewed her a few times now, and I feel like I've seen her at different stages of her career. One where she's completely burnt out and she was at the peak of her career. Two, the second time was like she was really still at a peak of her career, but like it felt like she was, figuring out, well, what else do I have besides just this level of artistry? She was around like opening up Yvie and developing Yvie. And now it feels like because she's gone through everything that she's gone through so publicly, it kind of feels like why she's at the place is like, well, why? I'm not going to dwell on this anymore. Like, I have to move forward and I have to get the things off my chest and I won't be silenced. And I really appreciate that. And so it'll be nice to have her on the show and be able to talk at some point about this moment where she's in now, because it does feel refreshing in a lot of ways.
And I'm like ready for people to get a chance to see that. She needs an opportunity to kind of reclaim the narrative a little bit. And she's done it with her work. And some of the interviews I've watched, we just haven't seen them really get into it enough. I'm like, girl, let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about.
People will never make me hate Lizzo. I'm sorry. It just won't happen.
Ever.
Right?
It just won't happen. That's my hot take. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Well, shout out Lizzo. You're all of our HighKey, bitch. Keep smiling, or bitch, I'm smiling, or smile or die trying.
All right, that's enough for the show.
Can I say one thing before we go? Because this is like something I want to celebrate us. I'm high-key obsessed with us. We got some news that our show is doing really, really well. And so many people are listening, more than we realized. And so many, in fact, that like if everyone who was listening right now got 3 other people to listen to this show.
Yes, please do.
It would literally be one of the biggest shows in the entire world. It's not that hard, but it really helps us in a huge way. And so I just want to like take a quick moment to make a quick PSA. Thank you for being here already. And there are so many of you, but share what this space is and means to you. Leave a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Leave a comment on Spotify or on YouTube so we can have a conversation with you.
I do like the comments on Spotify.
I do too.
Oh my God, they're so good. But also even on YouTube, like YouTube is great too, like watching this. So yes, get involved. It's even better. We should have a moment where we're like responding to those.
We should, yeah. We are a community. So, hit us on Spotify, hit us on YouTube. Follow us on Patreon and subscribe to our Patreon to hear all the extra juicy stuff.
Oh, and there's so much good shit there. People don't even realize.
And if you're really passionate, just send us some hateful mail in our DMs.
Please. I love it. Those really help. Those really help.
What a way to end the show. Oh my God. It was a great show though.
It really was. It's always fun chatting with you guys about anything, but this week was a little close to home, so it was extra fun.
Well, y'all are both invited to all the wedding parts, the family and the orgy.
Work. All right. Well, we'll discuss the last part. Until next week, though. Yvie, you want to say it?
Okay. Until next week, y'all. Stay messy, stay obsessed, and stay HighKey.
Yeah, you ate that. Good job.
Yeah, HighKey. See ya.